There's a point you reach as a founder where the money stops being the main driver. You get to a place where you can buy the car, rent any house, take the trips, fly private or first class, all the typical material things most people start a business for. The financial anxiety that fueled you for years starts to fade. And when it does, you are left with a question. What's the point now? What do you do when making more money doesn't really change your life? For me, that's when I realized the game had to change. It stopped being about accumulation and started being more about the actual progress. About building something bigger, more complex, more meaningful. It's about the challenge. That's why most companies that are big set some sort of vision and mission. Actually, it's always about progress in anything we do in life. As long as we are stagnating, we feel anxious. The realization is what led me to start thinking about what's next step in my journey to play the game at the bigger level, which is deciding to take my company public at just 26 years old. Today, I'm going to walk you through the evolution, my story, because I think it's the path every successful founder eventually considers. Also, this isn't just theory or future plan, this is happening right now for us. We made a decision this April in 2025 to take the company public. The entire process is currently underway as we speak. Obviously, it takes time and money to do those things, and in everything goes to plan, we should be publicly traded company in August or September this year. I'm putting my own marketing company and my own capital on the line as the very first piece for this new entity. And I've partnered with a team that has collectively acquired over 300 companies and taken more than 6 of them public on major exchanges like Nasdaq, London Stock Exchange or Frankfurt. I will probably record another video on where we are listing the company and why we picked that exchange. But in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 stages of this evolution. The exact path I'm working on. First, as an entrepreneur, you start by building a cash flow business, the foundation. Second, the shift from being the hands-on operator in a business to a true business owner or CEO. And third, the final stage where real wealth is built, learning to think and act like an investor. The third stage is the playbook that separates the millionaires from billionaires and is a game that is surprisingly accessible once you understand the structure. Make sure you stick around for the breakdown, I will explain it shortly. Okay, so let's start with the stage 1, the cash flow business, the foundation. Before you can even think about acquisitions or public companies, you have to start here. This is the stage where you build something from nothing. This is where you learn the business fundamentals. For me, this was starting my lead generation company. I took that business to 2.1 million a year before I hired my first employee. In the process, I had to learn everything. I was doing accounting, I was doing sales, running the ads, the copywriting, the landing page building. I was basically the entire business. It wasn't easy, but it taught me more than any MBA ever could. But let's be clear, this stage is the price of the entry, is the engine that produces the profit. And that profit buys you freedom later. It buys you the ability to even consider what's next. You have to build this engine first. But hitting the 2 to 3 million mark showed me the hard limit of that approach. When the entire business is built around you, you become the ceiling. Your company can only grow as big as your personal capacity to handle things. You are the main bottleneck, and it instantly caps your potential. This is where the stage 2 begins. The evolution from being hands-on operator to a true business owner or CEO. This isn't just a title change, it's a fundamental shift in what you are doing all day. Your focus has to move from doing the work to designing the machine that does the work for you. It means you start firing yourself from the job you are probably best at. It also means your new job is to obsess over 4 things. First, the vision for where you are going. Second, the people you hire to get there. Third, the data that tells you the truth if you are on track. And the fourth are the processes that allow your company or team execute consistently. When those 4 things are strong, the business runs on a system, not on you. This is the single hardest transition for a founder to make, but it's the one that turns your high-income job into a real transferable asset, something that has value independent of you, and that asset is the key that unlocks the door to the final stages. This brings us to the stage 3, the final evolution. This is where you stop thinking like a CEO who runs one business and start thinking like an investor who builds a portfolio. Even with a great team and solid processes, there is a natural limit to how fast one company can grow organically. You are still typically playing in one market with one core offer, but the real game is that one builds generational wealth isn't about grinding another 20% growth year over year. It's about multiplication. It's about taking your well-run valuable asset and using it as a platform to acquire other businesses. This is the playbook. Instead of spending 5 years building a service line from scratch, you can acquire a company that's already best in class, profitable, and has a great founder in place. You buy or merge with the companies and create way more valuable asset together. This is exactly why we decided to take my company public. The public company isn't the end goal for us, it's the machine we are building to acquire dozens of other profitable digital companies. We are looking for founders who have mastered stage 1 and are navigating stage 2, and founders who have built a real asset and are ready for the next chapter. And look, if you are a founder listening to this and you are doing somewhere between 1 to 5 million in profit, maybe you built a great business but you're feeling capped, or you are just thinking about what the next evolution looks like for you, this is the conversation we should be having. There's a link below, we should probably talk. Because This final stage, the shift to investor, is how you break through those upper limits for good. So let's quickly recap all the steps. There are 3 stages to this evolution. First, you have to build a cash flow business. This is your foundation. This is where you build the engine that produces the profit to fund everything else. You have to win this game first. Second, you have to make the shift from operator to CEO. This is where you stop being the bottleneck and start designing the machine. Your focus moves to vision, people, data, and processes, so the business can become an asset that runs without you. And third, you learn to think like an investor. You stop thinking about incremental growth and start thinking about multiplication. You use your asset you've built as a platform to acquire other great companies, creating a group that is far more valuable than the sum of its parts. Remember the core principle here, this isn't about skipping steps. Each stage builds on the last. The profit from stage 1 buys you the freedom to execute on stage 2. And business that's a true asset in the stage 2 becomes the key that unlocks the multiplication game in the stage 3. It's an evolution you have to go through. This is the exact path we are on right now with our new company, Global Digital Group. We are actively looking for founders of great digital service businesses who have built their engine and are ready to plug into a much bigger vision. If that's you and you are ready to explore what your next chapter could look like, the link is below.